questions to him. Yes, none other than the controversial, how should I say it, the protector of St. Maarten indigenous rights and people, Dr. Anders Leopold James, a very good friend of mine, but not tonight. I'll be putting some serious questions to him. I believe he's a racist, a black racist that is. I think he's an Oreo. He's black outside but white on the inside. Something is wrong with his theology against Caribbean people. He seems to have an issue with everyone that comes to this island and try to make an honest living. Many, many more questions I will be putting towards him tonight. Some hard and stiff questions I'll be directing to Dr. Anders Leopold James. But without further ado, let me welcome each and everyone for logging on to the program. Of course, our apologies because GEBE did a number on us, but we are here tonight. Everyone out there, welcome to the program. Good night. All the big ups to everyone. But we want to get into the program because it's going to be a very hot and hard-hitting program. Let me introduce my guest. He's no stranger. Dr. Anders Leopold James, good night.
Good night, Chris.
Take the mic.
Good night, Chris.
Good night, sir.
And thank you for having me on your program. And also
Put it up. Yeah, put it up.
a good evening, good day, good morning, wherever you are, to your many global listeners. And it's my privilege and honor to be here and to answer all and any question you may want to pose to me. I come with an open mind, and I'm ready and prepared to give my opinion in terms of any issue that you put to me, Chris. So feel free to ask me, any question you have, right? The nicest questions, the most unreasonable question. Once it makes you feel good, right? Ask me any question, because I believe that we're living on a time on St. Maarten, and I'm not the type of person who pulls any punches, as you know. You see? And I know that I cannot please the whole world. It's absolutely not my intention to please the whole world. It's neither my intention to hurt the whole world. It's my intention to say and to defend what I believe in, regardless of who agrees with me and or who disagrees with me. I welcome the discussion, and I know you will have a lot of people listening. I know you're going to have a lot of people disagreeing, but that's just fine, because I think St. Maarten has reached a point in its development that we can no longer pretend that all is well in paradise. So if I am here to take the blows and the blame for everything, on St. Maarten, bring it on.
I love the introduction. And of course, I will bring it on. Whether it's for blame or whether it's for good, we're going to solve those issues tonight. We're going to be giving those hard questions tonight. This is Hard Talk. It's my pleasure to have you here. As a matter of fact, you're one of the inspirations as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. But tonight, that's not what it's about. The formalities and the niceness.
I don't want to be nice to
That's
me.
not what it's about tonight. Tonight, it's about getting down to some serious issues. Some serious issues. I'm going to start right off at the top because this is how we do it here. Why it is, because I've done my research on you. I've done my research on you. And there has never been a time in all your discussions, whenever it's about people coming to St. Maarten, you seem to have a specific issue with Haitian nationals in this country. Why is that?
Yes, I definitely have an issue with people, who come to the country, and who because of their background, their culture, their way of thinking, their way of living, form a threat to our way of life and even to our very existence. Yes, I have a problem with that. Period.
But no. But that's not a Haitian problem. That's a St. Maarten problem.
It is.
We allow that.
It is.
So
Definitely.
why don't you address the issue about St. Maarten
It is.
and not the Haitian nationals?
I never said that they were the problem.
Stop. No. I have heard you on programs many times saying that the men should be castrated and even the women.
I never said that.
I have heard you on the program, on a program on the friend side, that the women Something should be done to them that they should not make babies.
Well,
I've heard you.
maybe you should replay that. But anyhow, if you want to go there, I think at a certain moment, and I'm not backing down for what I say, what I believe should happen. Just don't.
So you believe that something should be given to women that they can't make babies?
Just a minute, because I can understand that it's very important for your rating that certain things are said here. I understand all of that very well. But the point is, and I have a very strong opinion about a lot of things, and I'm not afraid to express them. But I want to express them in a context, and I want to express them the way I mean it. Yes, and I'm glad you're jumping right away on the hot issues, because St. Maarten has a lot of problems, and that Haitian problem, if I might call it that, is a problem, period. It's not only a problem on St. Maarten, it's a problem wherever they are. It's a problem in the Caribbean. It's a problem, in Brazil. It's a problem wherever they are. You just have to read. We can just continue to fool ourselves if we want. That is our choice. But Leopold, I am not planning to fool myself to please anybody. I think it's about time, when you have a country, that you have a responsibility to defend and protect your country. That's why you have a country. You understand? And I think when you have a country, right, and I assume first responsibility as a St. Maartener, and I think we as St. Maarten people collectively, including our government, we are the first ones to blame. Yes, I agree. Why? Because we never created, clear lines and clear rules, so when people know, because when people come to your house, right, they should know they come to your house. When you go to people's house, when you go to any country in the world, you know from the time you walk in that you are in somebody else's country. And we on St. Maarten, we have created a situation that is going to backfire not only on St. Maarteners, but on all persons that came to live here.
Dr. James, I am a protector of St. Maarten rights and St. Maarten people. But I take serious issue with you when you address and you take scorn to when we mention about our Caribbean brothers and sisters. You take serious issue with that term, Caribbean brothers and sisters, but that's what they are. That's who they are.
Listen,
our brothers and sisters, Dr. James.
I love the discussion. It's getting warm.
No, but let's be real. That's what it is.
Chris, don't think I run away from anything, Chris. I'm just getting started.
Because I'm coming at you with something else. Why do you take serious scorn at our Caribbean brothers and sisters?
Just come, listen. I think, and I know a lot of people are listening now, and a lot of people are eating out themselves, and that's just fine. Because St. Maarten has reached a point where it is not normal anymore, right? We have turned everything upside down so that when people come with a normal, approach, that is considered to be completely crazy. Well, let me be crazy. Because the only thing that's going to save St. Maarten is if at a certain moment we start to clean house on St. Maarten. And with clean house, I mean as well as developing a new thinking. We have to start developing a new thinking and giving concepts, a complete different content. Because here on St. Maarten, we have things so upside down and so confused. When people talk about Caribbean brothers and sisters, it's fine to be Caribbean brothers and sisters. But if Caribbean brothers and sisters means that our fellow Caribbean people that live on St. Maarten can come and do as they please or have the same rights as we natives have here in St. Maarten, where I have no problem with, basically. But when it comes to their country, right, there's not such a thing as Caribbean brothers and sisters, then I say stop the nonsense. You understand? Because I'm not a fool. I don't give two kicks for no Caribbean brothers and sisters nonsense. If it means that you can come to my country, get the same rights as me, but when it comes to your country, there's no reciprocity there. Those are some of the things that I think we have to deal with.
You see? Many nights on this program, I talk about our hypocritical nature that we have as a people here in St. Maarten. And when you listen to Dr. James, you would get the impression as if he's a 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th and a 10th and a 9th indigenous St. Maartener on this island. But I have proof, and I know for a fact, that many of his ancestors come from other neighboring islands. I know that for sure.
Show it.
I know that. Some of your ancestors came from Antigua. You have relatives that come from Antigua.
You have a question for me?
So my point is this. My point is this, Dr. James. Why it is that you're always on that issue with the Caribbean people that comes here, but you say nothing about the European.
That's not
Why
true.
is that?
It's
But no one never hear you mention about the Europeans are coming here also, Dr. James.
Chris, I don't mind
You
you.
seem to have a problem with black people coming to this island, Dr. James.
I am not afraid of you or anybody. I have no problem that you attacking me on what I say. I have a problem if you or whoever
let me tell you that I've been from time I knew you was coming here. I've listened to many of your tapes.
Fine.
I've
read nothing to hide.
Of your articles.
Bring it on.
So you
bring
can't
it on.
sit here and say that's not true. I know what I'm saying. I'm not making up idle
Chris,
stuff.
I am not afraid of my opinion, Chris.
Good.
You should know that too.
What's your position on Europeans coming to St. Martin?
Chris, let me tell you something, Chris. And if you did your homework, Chris, you realize I came back to St. Martin in 1981.
Right.
And I started to work at the Milton Peters College right across the road here.
Yep.
Right? I came back and I was, I think, the first black involved in the Harvard section on St. Martin back then.
You was one of them who initiated the program, as a matter of fact.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. When I came back, you had Harvard 3. And I was, as far as I can remember, the only black teacher in that section. Because the other teachers, the other Antillean teachers, they were involved in the LTS department. From the day I came back, and yes, I'm married to a white Dutch woman who I love a lot, and I know I'll get a lot of questions on that too, so please bring on the questions. Yeah? I came back and I saw the situation at the Milton Peters College with the Dutch teachers. I have had more problems with the Dutch teachers than anybody ever on St. Martin, because I saw the problem, right? That, their attitude and everything else. And that is a reason, for instance, that Mr. Benstop never attacks anybody else but Leopold James, because I was his boss. You understand? So one of the first group of people that I exposed for their colonial attitude and everything were the Dutch people themselves. They were the first one. But what happened with St. Martin people, a lot of St. Martin people then, right, are very hypocritical, right? Because when, at that time, I was talking about a lot of problems, right, and we're going to talk about other problems as well, I was considered to be a crazy man. Now the crazy man gets invited all the time to try to explain how we're going to deal with the problems that I saw coming back then already. You see, because when I used to speak out back then against the Dutch teachers, standing alone by myself, right, I was called all kinds of names. You see, I have those things black on white. So, I mean, don't go to yourself about Caribbean brothers and sisters nonsense. The first people that I had issues with, openly, directly, even the Dutch government, was the Dutch people, Leopold. The next group that I really exposed were the Indians, straight out on the front street. When I had my Caribbean Champion newspaper, I was attacking them consistently because they were not employed and they were laying off at that time St. Martin people and a lot of Caribbean people. I can give examples of Caribbean girls that I called in and went to the shops to defend them. So don't even let us go there whatsoever. Now, as far as Caribbean people are concerned, or any other people, whoever they might be, it really matters not to me. I find at a certain, when it comes to St. Martin, anybody, any group, any factor that threatens our existence as a people, and I am one of those people, I have the right to open my mouth and give my opinion,
when you say our people,
which I will
do you mean
do.
the indigenous people of St. Martin?
When I talk about my people,
Who people?
Well, when I talk about my people, I talk about St. Martin, native, indigenous people. That's the people I talk about.
Let's dive a bit in
Sure,
this
go ahead.
indigenous talk.
Sure.
Who are the indigenous people of St. Martin? Who are they?
Good question.
Who are they?
For us, the indigenous people, it's a matter of definition. Nobody has to tell us, right, that we are not the very first indigenous people that St. Martin has ever had. We know all about that. They were the Amerindians, and they are no more. They are no more because they disappeared, and they did not disappear because of the weather, hurricane, or whatever. They would disappear because they were wiped out by intruders, by people that came in with their own agenda, right? History teaches us that after they were wiped out, certain people were brought in to do the work for the colonial, let's say, masters. You know, some of my ancestors came from Africa. I'm very well aware of that, right? And they were used here as slaves to build this country. You understand what I'm saying? So, and eventually, those people, after abolition, after the abolishment of slavery, they, together with the descendants of the slave masters, they established basically a free society. That is the beginning for us of the St. Maarten nation, because from that moment on, after the abolition of slavery, you know, people were free to basically interact and socialize with each other. You understand? And that is for us the beginning of the nation building process of St. Maarten. So all the people who can trace their roots to that period of nation building, which started around 1863, for us, we consider them to be native indigenous St. Martiners.
I'm listening to what you're saying, I'm digesting what you're saying, and I hope the listeners are understanding his point. Because, you see, this is the problem that we have here in St. Maarten when we pick and choose, right? Which side we want to be on or how we want to be it. Earlier he mentioned that, you know, he's a husband, and of course his wife is a Dutch woman. I want you guys to understand this. His wife is a Dutch woman.
A white woman.
A white woman. Is she indigenous to St. Maarten?
Oh, no. Of course not of course. She's not indigenous to St. Maarten. She's indigenous to the Netherlands.
But then you're not leading by example, Dr. James, because if you're so professed to stand up and be strong for indigenous, why didn't you lead by example and getting involved with an indigenous woman?
Listen, I do not have to explain to anybody, give an account to anybody, you or anybody, who I fell in love with when I was 16, 17 years.
You don't have a legitimate point to
I
argue.
could not care less.
You don't have a legitimate point to argue.
I could not care less what you or others think, right? Because I am not here, you did not invite me here, because there are so many other people out there who have the solution and who are so perfectly suited to lead by any example. You understand? I challenge anybody, right, who thinks that they could do a better job than me to lead by example, because I would gladly turn over this chair to them. I'm here. I didn't come here by my own. I didn't come here on my own volition.
Of course not.
You invited me. And I'm sure you did not invite me because I have nothing to say.
No,
you invited me.
I invited you because
I'll tell you why you invited
I wanted
me.
to tear you to shreds.
I'll tell you why you invited me.
Based on your arguments,
and that's fine.
That you go on constantly in the newspapers, that's one. On the other radio programs, that's two. And I realize that you say many things that is contradictory to your actions. And that's what I'm saying. Here you are as a man, talking about indigenous people, talking about St. Maarten rights, but yet you don't lead by example. So how do you?
Okay. Let me explain.
Because you are one of them. You are one of them. Okay, who are involved with outsiders. You don't like outsiders, but you're involved with outsiders. And that's the hypocritical part about it, because you beat up on the Caribbean people. We all came on the same boat to this part of the region by the people that you're involved with. Their ancestors brought us here. They brought us here. They are the ones committed the atrocities and stuff to us here. The same Caribbean brothers and sisters. But yet, your companion, your mate, is a European and white as that.
And I have absolutely.
So you have no legitimate grounds to talk about protecting
I have
us.
all the legitimate ground, more than anybody else.
But then you're a hypocrite, Dr. James.
You can call me whatever you want to call me, right? I did not get up and take this stand because all those St. Martiners who married to St. Maarten women alone and black women, where are they?
They're right here.
Where are they? Where are they? If it takes somebody like me who married an outside woman to stand up to fight for St. Maarten people, where are the St. Maarten people that married St. Maarten? Where are they?
But then
where are they?
No, then the question.
Where are they?
The question to that is that you have your ulterior motives. You have your ulterior reasons as to why you're doing it.
I don't know what ulterior motives you are talking about. When it comes to St. Maarten, I think I'm very, very clear. If that's an ulterior motive, so be it.
I don't think I can listen to anyone who tell me that I should do this and I should be this way, and they don't leave there.
I love your style. I love the discussion. And again, You invited me, you're going to invite me again. Everybody can invite me again. They're going to listen again. No matter how much they criticize me, they're going to listen again. Because I say the things that a lot of St. Maarten people who basically perhaps are better suited to do the job are not doing the job.
Are you winning this battle?
I'm more than winning the battle because you invite me here and everybody listening and all those people who send those type of questions to you to talk about James being an Oreo cookie and God knows what, let them continue. Because in the meantime, I showed they're listening.
You realize
there's nobody's going to stop me from speaking out and defending what I'm doing. Whether I'm married to a Chinese, I'm married to an Indian, I'm married to whatever. Because then I'm saying, you should ask all those St. Maarten, especially those in government, who married St. Maarten women, right?
Let me stop you there, Dr. James. Let me stop you there. Because there you go again. There you go again. Dr. James have the famous St. Maarten ID card. But who are the first people that was recipient to those ID cards? Indians.
Not true.
Not true?
No.
Not true?
Not true.
Not
the first, no.
Who were the prominent people that received those ID cards?
Listen.
Who was the prominent individual that received Damu? From the Indian Association.
No. Damu wasn't.
Damu was one of the individuals.
Yes.
Maxud was
and
one of the individuals. And what happens? What do? You sneak in a few natives now and again and present a card.
Listen, Chris. I love this discussion.
All those things are.
All
those things are what people are sending to me.
But good for them.
Sending those questions.
But it's great.
And they are saying that you're one of the biggest hypocrites.
That's fine. But why the listing?
You say one thing and you do other.
Why are the listing? Listen, Chris, let me tell you something, huh? You're trying a good thing, but it ain't working.
Listen.
Could you give me a chance to talk? You invite me, right?
Sure. You
invite me, right?
Sure.
I have been through worse than what you're doing to me right now and what other people are trying to do. I never try to please the whole world, and definitely I don't try to please people who will never accept me for who I am or for what I stand for. You know, I have no problem with that whatsoever. They will never agree with me, they'll never accept me, and I will do nothing to basically win them over. It's their choice to find me whatever they want. If that is the way they're protecting the future for their children, I mean, let them go ahead. That matters not to me at all. One thing I know, you invite me here because you know that what I have been talking about and the spirit of St. Maarten people, that is coming alive today very strongly. Whether I marry a Greek, a Chinese, or whatever, you understand? St. Maarten people are realizing that they have a country to defend, right? And have no apologies to make to nobody. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, I don't try to please everybody because you have some people who have bad intentions. And no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to please them. And I couldn't care less for them, period. I focus on those who are willing to listen. Nobody has to agree with me. But one thing, if St. Maarteners don't want to stand up and defend their country, right, then that is their right, and so are the consequences for them. You see, can only do what I believe in. I never said I am perfect. Who's perfect? I would like to see the perfect person here in this program, Chris. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, don't even, if you want to go there, I mean, that's a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to talk about the issues. That's why, I accepted your invitation. I don't want you to make it easy for me because I'm tough. I can deal with any situation. That's not the issue. Now, pertaining to the card, this discussion, and that's so nice on St. Maarten, where I said there's a lot of hypocrisy. You understand? And when you get involved in this business, you have to expect exactly what's going on. And I knew from the time I started talking about St. Maarten people that all of a sudden people can come and attack. I know that. You understand? As long as we talk about Carnival and everybody could talk about their country, it's no problem. But as soon as you have one St. Maartener who stand up for St. Maarten people, oh, he's an Oreo cookie, oh, but what else do you expect them to say? You see, back then, I'm in this business since 81 in one form or the other. You understand? And we have been constantly inviting people, constantly challenging people to define the St. Maartener. You know that, Chris?
I know that.
We never want to do it, but we said there is going to come a point in time that there's going to be a fight for the St. Maarten identity. I said it. I wrote about it many times. Because most people, they come to St. Maarten, they didn't come to St. Maarten for no St. Maarten identity. That's nonsense because it doesn't exist on paper. They come to St. Maarten because of the Dutch rights they could have claimed or the French rights. That's what they come here for, period.
But it doesn't belong to you.
Once they hear, it doesn't belong to nobody.
It doesn't belong to you.
It belongs to me. It belongs to anybody.
The Dutch rights belong to you.
No, not the Dutch rights. No, the Dutch rights. No. What I'm saying is, listen, there was a time, and you know that, Chris, because I like the role you're playing, because I know exactly where you're coming from, and I appreciate that. You understand? How many times people throw it in our face, in your face, and it happens every day. We have our Dutch rights now too, we have our French rights too, throw it in your face. I mean, we saw it coming a long time, that at a certain moment, if we stick to the nationality as St. Maarten people, we are doomed.
Listen. I agree with your position when you said being the St. Martiner is the most coveted prize.
I wrote about that about 10 years ago. I wrote about that.
People would want.
And I predicted.
Not simply being French.
No.
Not simply being
exactly
Dutch enough, but being the St. Martiner.
You see,
is the most. I agree.
And that's listen. I understand what's going on. I understand everything that's going on. I understand the people's, the hatred of some people against me. But you have other people out there too who love what I'm doing too.
Let's come to that.
Let me give an example. Let me give an example. Because I love this so bad, I ain't funny no more. A few days ago, I spent some time as a tourist in my own country. We went to Grand Cas Beach Resort. Beautiful place, quiet place. And at a given moment, I was walking along the beach in the morning. And I was looking at the houses at the beach, and I was talking to myself and thinking to myself. And I was kind of down in a sense, because it's like, where are the St. Maarten people? And I noticed that in the sea at a certain moment, there was a gentleman with two girls swimming. So I passed by and I hailed him. And when I came back, he had just come out of the water and we started to talk. And I was pleasantly surprised that this gentleman was a St. Maartener, a real native indigenous St. Maartener. And we started to talk, and he started to explain me how upset he is what happened to the country. He mentioned the Dominicanos, he mentioned the Haitians, he mentioned it, that they do what they want, put out stands how they want and whatever. So when I heard from him, I told him, I said, when I hear you talk, it's like I hear myself talk. And I'd never met a guy before. He was so bitter what's going on in this country, so bitter. And at a given moment, I told him, I said, there was a time that I was afraid that I would die, without seeing the light in the tunnel, in the sense that people realize, and people realize, you got to fight for your country. He had a little girl with him, as I said. His daughter was about 8 years, no older than 9 years. She looked up to me, and she said, but you don't have to be afraid to die. You're not going to die? So I said, no, everybody's going to die, sooner or later. She said, let me tell you something. She said, I am a leader. I'm not a follower. She said, I listen to you, and you are not going to die. You're going to live in my heart. And she did like that. You're going to live in my heart, because we, young people, we are not going to allow St. Maarten to be lost. She said, I'm going to become, a specialist, a medical specialist, 2 specialisms she mentioned, and a lawyer, and she explained why, how she can help some other people. I got tears in my eyes, because I realized that all is not lost. That while some people are criticizing me and thinking that I'm the only one out there seeing what happened to St. Maarten and try to save my country, if they think that Leopold James is a problem, I got news to them. This is a girl about 8 years. I was so impressed by this young lady. She, at a certain moment, she had to calm me down, and that told me that this thing is spiritual. This thing is spiritual. What we are talking about today, it's so emotional for understandable reasons. I understand the people who don't like what I'm saying too, because it could come across to them as if we are here to kick out people. We ain't here to kick out and bring in people. We are here because as St. Maarten people, we never had people in St. Maarten speaking out, and crying out and showing the world what's happening to St. Maarten. You see, so people are not accustomed to that. You understand? I have had many times when people hear me speak, they say, but you're not St. Maarten. You born in St. Maarten. Born right in Colby. One guy the other day told me, you born in Aruba. I said, well, I ain't going to argue with you. If you find a born in Aruba, no, I born on the moon. Because I argue with that. Because people have taken St. Maarten so much for granted. You see, they're so accustomed that St. Martiners take the crap that they don't allow anybody to do in their country. So when they hear a James and then he married a white woman, of course, try to distract the people. Yeah, he married a white woman, he's an Oreo cookie. Well, let me be an Oreo cookie, a double Oreo cookie or whatever. I'm going to stand up for St. Martin people. I'm going to say what I have to say, and I just getting started. Believe me.
I have a bomb that I'm going to drop on Dr. Anders Leopold James tonight, because he must have figured or he thought that I didn't know. But I did my research. So I have a bomb to drop tonight on him. Let's move it into the political realm, because you have also been very, very active.
Sure.
When it came to the 10-10-10 decision,
yes,
and the Constitution being put together.
Yes.
And I in many of your articles, in many times on the radio, you took a serious position against then the National Alliance leader, William Maarten.
Yes.
You seem to have a serious issue with him and a serious problem with him. Why is it you don't like William Maarten?
Well, of course you put it cheap for your reason. I understand that, you know. But I like William Maarten, don't like William Maarten, it's irrelevant. William Maarten is family of mine anyhow. You know, we are related, you know. It's not that I like William Maarten, don't like, that is completely irrelevant. My position against William Maarten, and I repeat in his face, anytime, anywhere, under any circumstances, you betray St. Martin people. Simple as that. It's simple.
Let me stop you there. What about the Democratic Party leader at the time? Sarah Westcott Williams. Good. Same. So they both betrayed.
Sure. All.
But your stance wasn't as hard with her as it was with William Maarten.
No, Chris, that's not true. But Chris, of course, you are an alliance person, so you talk.
No. That's not the issue.
Chris,
Dr. James. Because
don't put no words in my mouth,
Dr.
Chris.
James, that is not true that I am alliance people, so I'm picking up for the issue. Because at one point in time, and still present today, I was a Dr. Anders Leopold James person also. So don't go there. And you know this very well. Every night I would be in your home, on your program. So don't go there and don't start it that way, because that is not true.
I'm glad you got your program,
that is
Chris.
Not true.
But let me put it like this, Chris. Chris, okay. you know me good enough, Chris, to know that when it comes to St. Martin, I'm going to say whatever I have to say. You know, when it comes to any politician who betrays St. Martin people, undermines St. Martin people, or whatever, whether it's Mr. William Maarten, and I say here tonight, basically all of them, period.
What's your stance and your position with the late Dr. Claude Watty? How do you feel about the gentleman?
Well, with all due respect for Dr. Claude Watty, I knew Dr. Claude Watty very well, you know, and I think I'm the only person that ever challenged Claude Watty, you know, and give him a piece of my mind. You know, I think with all due respect for what Claude Watty has done, I think Claude Watty is the one who has taken away the pride and the dignity from St. Martin people. I know by saying that, a lot of people are going to ready come and shoot me. I know that, but that's the way I see it.
Here comes the bomb. Here comes the bomb.
Go ahead, drop the bomb.
Right? If that is the case, didn't you one point in time run on the Democratic Party list?
So that's a bomb?
Wasn't you a candidate on the Democratic Party list?
Is that a bomb?
Wasn't you a candidate on the Democratic Party
list? But of course, and I can explain it.
Is that a bomb?
Yes.
With the same gentleman?
Yes.
But why have you kept that a secret for so many times?
What secret it is?
Well, no one knew.
What secret it is?
No one knew.
Chris, behave yourself. What secret?
How many people knew you ran?
Well, you want me to explain it now?
Explain it.
Okay.
Explain it, because now you're fidgeting for
horses mouth. Chris, give me a break.
You're fidgeting for words. No one.
Chris, give me a break.
I did my research.
Chris, you hear from the horse's mouth.
What is going on here now? What is going on here now?
Chris,
fishing for words.
Chris, you want it?
Because I did my research.
Well, when you come on my program, we're going to see how you're going to be fishing for it.
That's the reason why I made the question the way. How do you feel about the gentleman?
Chris, you can't set me up, Chris, because I know where you're coming from a long time before you
ran on the same list.
If you want me to give an answer, if you want, yes, I run the list, period, and I'm going to tell you a lot. I'm going to tell you a lot, Chris. I wasn't afraid of Claude Watty. Claude Watty was afraid of me. Yes? And Claude Watty children knows that.
They're asking you to look at the camera and address the people.
Listen, I have, in 1988, and that tape has circulated recently around the world, where I addressed Mr. Claude Watty and I sent him where the sun don't shine. Yeah? So we don't even go there yourself. You understand? But let me explain to you how I got involved with the DP party, which I'm not ashamed of whatsoever. I don't know what year.
No,
No, but you're busy, Chris.
No, you continue.
So don't say,
ahead.
because you're busy. I'm
You
looking
go
at
ahead.
you.
You go ahead.
Don't
You
create
go
the
ahead.
impression that because I'm looking at you.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, all right. It
Don't
was,
look at me. Look at the camera. Talk to the people.
it was, listen, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. My name is Leopold James, and I'm very proud of who I am and what I stand for. Now, my relationship to the Democratic Party is as follows. I hope you have the time, right? I came back to St. Maarten in 1981. My family and I had never been in politics before. When I came back, my family has always been, let's say, opposition, as they call it. You know, it was in the time, I think the St. Maarten Patriotic Movement, later on the St. Maarten Patriotic Alliance, etc. When I came back to St. Maarten in 1981, and saw what was taking place on St. Maarten socially, politically, for me, everybody could have seen the difference between the Democratic Party and the opposition. Democratic Party, and I've told them flat in their face, was a business party. It was a business party. You know, it was a business organization. So my interest at a certain moment was with the alliance, with the movement then, because it was about building the country. And I came back with an education, and I want to make a contribution to my country. So I got involved and befriend a lot of people from the St. Maarten Patriotic Movement, you know, and my family were always, you know, as I said, you know, opposition people. My whole family, Kobe to a large extent. Then at a certain moment, I remember Mr. Rocks was a good friend of mine, and I remember one time Mr. Rocks told me, he said, James, he came at my home, he said, James, maybe you get angry at me. I said, why? He said, because I decided, you know, I forgotten about this St. Maarten Patriotic Movement because they don't want to give intellectuals a chance, you know, and I am going to go over to the Democratic Party. When he told me that, I said, no, Ross, I'm not going to get mad at you because, to tell you the truth, I see that myself. Because I had different experiences with Mr. Van James, the late with Mr. Van James, who for me, I got to know him in a whole different way than most people get to know him. You know, where I realized Mr. Van James was nice, so-called nice, but certain people, certain strong-willed people, he definitely didn't want around him, among others, Leopold James. So there came a time that I, at a certain moment, decided, you know what, I'm going to take a distance from dealing with those people and whatever, you know, and just cool out and then study the situation. I was working at the Milton Peters College then, and everything I'm saying, you feel free to check it out. Yeah. Tell me if I lie, you come and bring it. No, you know, me. Yeah. You do. I insist that you do that. Yeah. Okay. Then one day I came home from school. I never forget. It was a year in which they had a campaign, and my son Stephen, you know, my young son Stephen, he said, "Papa," he said, "I'm not sure exactly what name, but out of the camp of Claude Watty, a telephone had come. I was living in Kobe then, for me to call Dr. Claude Watty." So I was like, huh? Dr. Claude Watty called me to call him? What's that? So I called, you know, the number I got. I called and said, yes, you know, we're having a meeting down at Kimsha, and we would like for you to be there. You know, so I decided, okay, I'll go down there, you know, and see what's all about. Because I was young, have a lot of ideas like I have. I have a big contribution to make. I mean, I'm not just the first best when it comes to ideas and it comes to competencies. Give me a break. And this is my country. So I decided, okay, well, I'm going to listen and go with an open mind and see what's what. You know, and as the way I am not afraid to deal with anybody once I know who I am and who that person is. So I went there, and indeed, you know, they started talking about the campaign and everything, and for me it was a learning experience because indeed I was shocked to see the mentality of the people there. A lot of them are alive today. You know, I came there at Kimsha, and Dr. Claude Watty was there with his sons Al and whatever, and I could see they were controlling the whole bunch of black monkeys there who were around the bar drinking and dealing with all kind of Spanish ladies and whatever. And when I saw that situation, really, I said to myself, wow, Paul, look what you're getting yourself involved with. But I decided, you know, in life sometimes you got to have the courage to learn, to get certain experience, you know, if that's what it takes to make your contribution. So I just, you know, I didn't feel comfortable in that situation because that's not the way I was brought up, you know, so I just observed and everything else. And at a given moment, you know, it was Al, he was in charge. He said, let's go downstairs, and we went downstairs. to have a meeting. And it was just like the mafia. I went on there, and I see them around the table, and then they get very serious because they're about, preparing the campaign for the next election, and who all had to do God knows what. And I decided to myself already, well, certain things that you think I'm going to do, I ain't doing it. You understand? So we then came back a few weeks later, 2 weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm not sure, to explain what we had done in the meantime. So, when the meeting started, everybody was anxious to show Claude what they had done and how they had gone to New York to get people on the voters list here and God knows what. And I hadn't done nothing, and I wasn't planned to do anything, against my principle as well. I know I was playing a very dangerous game. So when it was my turn, at a given moment, they asked me, what names I have, what list I have, and I said, well, sorry, I just didn't have the time. I agree, I lied, because I had the time, but I didn't want to tell them point blank, go to hell, So I said, well, I didn't have the time. But when I said that, you could hear a pin drop. The floor was a carpet. You could hear a pin drop because they didn't trust me. Because they know, listen, I could be in the DP party or whatever party. I was there with a Samaritan agenda. The agenda I went with was about education programs and environment at that time. Back then, nobody knew what environment was. Nobody cared about environment. I remember my first meeting was in Kobe. And it was a very strange situation because, James to the DP, even my family was against me. They were totally against me, So I remember when we had our first meeting there in Kobe, and it was my turn to speak. Everybody listened what this Dr. Anders has to say because they were accustomed, that politicians would throw water on each other and bad talk each other and bring melee. I wasn't in that business. I still am not in that business. So I started talking about education. I started talking about environment and everything else. And everybody started to yawn because I was boring. I got 7 votes. Everybody laughed at me for 7 votes. I was happy with it. Don't worry. So yes, I was with the DP party. And if during that period that I was with the DP party, I did anything that went against my principle of St. Maarten, please bring it on.
And I'm happy that you gave that explanation. I know you had to go in depth.
Well, whatever you want, I'll go anywhere you want, believe me.
You could have imagined my surprise in the research I was doing when someone sent me a message and said, seeing that you're asking all these questions and you're doing your research, I bet you didn't know this one. He ran on the Democratic.
I ran on Democratic, yes, but then I say I guess shit to waivers. I don't have none to hide, Chris. I'm a man. Give me a break.
I'm saying it was.
Who you think you have next year?
It was
shocking to you.
To me.
Shocking to you because there's a lot you don't know.
It was shocking to me.
Listen, Chris, you just come around, Chris. With all due respect, and I admire you, but there's a lot you don't know. When I start to talk, wait till I get my own program. A lot of things people don't know, A lot of things people don't know of me. People have all kind of ideas about me. Fine, I have no problem with that. You understand? But there's a lot you don't know.
Dr. James, people are saying that you were the architect behind the new political organization, political movement, Concordia.
You want me to tell you?
You were the architect.
Listen. Let's be men. I was definitely involved in assisting Mr. I think you're biting your tongue, Chris. I don't know why you're biting your tongue for. Say it the way it is, because I ain't afraid. You understand, Chris? I want you. But why you have to bring it like that? So biting your tongue. Don't bite your tongue.
No, because there's a question.
I'll be proud to be the architect.
There's a question.
I'll be proud to be the architect.
But you're not answering yes
I'll be.
or no.
What do you mean? What do you mean with architect?
Were you the designer? Were you the initiator?
I played a big role in advising Jeffrey pertaining to his party. Yes.
Yes, you were the architect.
Yes.
Why weren't you on the list?
That's my.
Why it is you let Jeffrey alone be bombarded? Why it is
but
you
that's a dumb question. That's a dumb question. No, that's a dumb question.
You stayed in the background and you allowed Jeffrey to be bombarded and take all the blows.
So what?
Why? If you believe in the movement so much, why weren't
Chris,
you on the list?
You're talking now. With all due respect, you're talking nonsense now.
Why weren't
with all respect, you're talking nonsense now.
Why weren't
with all due respect, you're talking total nonsense now. I could be advisor of so many different things. What does that mean now?
Where's the
you can't choose a role, Chris.
Where's the movement today? Where's the movement today?
Which movement?
The Concordia movement.
I don't. That's not mine. That's not mine to decide. I wasn't the president
Dr.
of
James,
the.
the people want to
No,
know.
no. People want to know. People want to know, and I have to educate the people. I am responsible for what I'm doing. Ask me anything about what I am doing. Anything.
That's why I asked you, were you the
Anything.
architect behind the Concordia movement?
I was.
With Jeffrey?
I was an advisor, and I'm advising to a lot of people, a lot of politicians, a lot of educators. That is the name of the game. You know, I have been advised to so many people. So what's wrong with that?
How's your relationship today with Jeffrey?
Call him.
No, I'm not calling Jeffrey. I'm
Call
asking
him.
you right now. How is your relationship?
And I tell you,
today?
call him.
No. How is your relationship?
You want to squeeze
today?
an answer out of my mouth?
How is your
You think you can squeeze an answer?
Dr. James?
Give me a break.
How is your relationship today
As I said,
with Jeffrey?
call him, invite him, and ask him.
Because people are saying that you set up the young man.
But that's what I'm saying. Call him. That's what I'm saying.
That you set him up.
That's what I'm saying.
And today that he have fall, you're nowhere.
He fall?
Yeah,
He fall?
Oh yes.
How he fall?
He's off the spectrum. No one.
That's
is
fall.
looking
I
at
know
him.
I know a lot of people that's off the
People
spectrum.
are saying today, this is what you did to the young man. Now that he have fallen, you're nowhere to be found to help him back up. That's what people are saying.
So I threw down Jeffrey. That's what they're
I
saying.
didn't say you threw down Jeffrey. I am saying you wasn't there. when he
Listen.
was falling to stand by Jeffrey. That's what I'm saying.
Listen. If you want to have a discussion about what I stand for and what I am doing, you're free to ask me any question.
So this is a non-issue.
I am not going to take on responsibility for others, right? So that others can have a nice time, you know,
You
enjoying.
were the architect
Understand me
of
well.
Concordia Political
I am.
Alliance?
I'm not that. In
You
the
were the
when you say the
architect-
architect, what it means?
You
architect.
said yes.
No, I'm
You
not.
was the
No,
one that
no,
put
no,
the
no, no, no,
Concordia
no,
Political
no,
Alliance
no,
together
no, no, no,
with Jeffrey
no. It's not
Richardson.
true. No, it's not true. Let me explain something. Let me explain something. That's what I'm saying. You should then have Jeffrey here along with me so he can confirm or not.
That's why
Give me
I
a break.
asked you, were you
No,
the
give me a break. If you're doing it good, do it good.
Were you the architect?
If you're doing it, do it good. Jeffrey decided. Jeffrey always said he wants to go in politics. You know that.
Yes, I do.
When Jeffrey decided he wants to go in politics, right? I solicited to advise him and to be there to advise him. Yes, and I've done it with other people as well. But that doesn't mean I'm the architect in the sense that I created for him. I gave him a lot of advice when he needed it, and there were other people advising him too.
Do you still believe in the Concordia Political Alliance today?
But it's not my party. That's not the right question.
But when I asked you,
Then the
earlier-
right
when I asked you
question.
earlier, were you the architect? You said yes.
No, I didn't say I was. I'm the advisor. I was the advisor, and I advise a lot of other people and doing what they're doing.
Dr. James, I'm happy that you're here. And I know that you're a Colby man. I know that you're a person that really stand up for what is going on in the community. And I am very, very disappointed in a man of your stature. See certain things going on and you say nothing about
Like
it.
what? Like what?
Let's talk about the Causeway issue.
Okay. I like it.
I mean, after all, you came here and you were one of the first individuals to talk about environment.
Sure.
You're an environmentalist. You was one of the first to mention it.
So
What's your position on the Causeway?
listen, I have an opinion. If you ask me an
What's
opinion, I
your
give.
opinion about the
But if you're going to say, well, you're disappointed. I mean,
I'm disappointed because I haven't seen not one article, not one page, not one commentary from Dr. James.
yes.
Your name precedes yourself. You are the individual that people looks out
Listen.
to hear something from. Colby is your background.
You ask
Simpson is your port.
You ask me a question now. I
What's
can
your
answer now.
opinion on the Causeway?
I give you my opinion now, right? But what I find interesting about this whole discussion, and I love the debate, here am I, being asked questions as if, people voted for me, and as if I have to give.
Dr. James, people don't have to vote for you.
Give me. Could I explain myself?
Explain yourself. It's
Right?
taking long to explain yourself, though.
That's your problem.
Explain yourself.
That's your problem. I ain't here to please anybody's agenda, right? Because I'm not that type of person. I don't look for ratings or whatever. I am who I am. That's all I could be, who I am. Yes? You ask me now about the Causeway. I personally have a very big problem, not necessarily with the Causeway in and of itself, but what I do not understand, to tell you the truth, and I'm glad you asked that question, what I don't understand is how such a project can take place. Because I'm looking at this project, which is going to cost millions of dollars. You know, it could be maybe $50, $60 million. You know, and that has not been discussed or passed through the Island Council. That is what got me going, because I'm saying, just a minute, a project like that, of that magnitude, an infrastructural project of that magnitude, doesn't have to go through that. Listen, you know why I don't talk? Because I get myself in trouble. Because I find people have to start getting locked up, period. You understand? Because I think it's totally, I am so insulted as a citizen. You know, I'm going to 70 years now, you know. I'm tired. Believe me, I'm tired. So if you expect me to be talking and jumping off everything, God bless you. You understand? I am going to pick and choose the moment that I am willing to spend more energy, you know, on certain things, which I've been doing since 1981. So I have no, you know, apologies to make to nobody, you know. But that doesn't mean to say I don't have an opinion, you know. What is interesting now, I get invited now. Not often I have been shunned, and you know that too. I have been shunned over the years in terms of giving an opinion. I have been cut out, you know, from informing the people in terms of what's going on St. Maarten people for years. So, I mean, let's put things in perspective. You understand? So, come back to the causeway, you know. I just don't understand, you know, and when I hear, you know, okay, if things have been put in place, we can't stop it. I, as a citizen, I find it's criminal. These are the things that I find breed criminality, because I find government tail, all of them are criminals, period. If you can do that and get away with it, what signal does that show to young people? Does it mean now that because you have the money, which you generated through the port authority, you got the money, so you can just go ahead and do what you want now? Suppose I get money from the drug cartel now. Does it mean I could build whatever on St. Maarten as well? I find it's ridiculous. I find it should be stopped immediately. Investigation taking place. And when I hear this nonsense about it can cost money, freedom costs money. Democracy costs money. But it has to send a message. It got to stop. It got to stop, and has to be corrected. I personally find, that's my opinion, I find it should be stopped. You understand? I don't care how much money it can cost, because at a given, if we don't stop it, every time there will be another project. Right. Oh God, since it's in the pipeline, we can't stop it. Nonsense. My opinion will be to stop it. And I think the new government, you know, I hope that they are looking into that possibility to see how can a project of this magnitude not even gone through the parliament, even if that is some kind of a joke, so to speak. You understand? But it didn't even go through parliament. I mean, what kind of respect does that show to the citizens of this? What respect it shows to me? I feel highly offended. You know, in that sense, you know, I'm very, very upset with it, because I find this shows that St. Maarten is really, you know, a mafia type of operation. And the way it went down, right after the government fell, all of a sudden they start moving earth. And if I, in my backyard, where nobody can see what I'm doing, do something to change a kitchen, they buy my house. You understand? So I don't want to get myself upset, because I was involved in a lot of things. You know, I was in jail several times already. So don't let us even go there yourself.
Here's where I'm smiling, and here's where I'm his friend tonight, because this is the part of the program that I like. Because many of you all may not have known. So I'm going to ask him the question: do we need another heavy equipment movement and blockade on the island? Because I know you was involved with it.
I definitely was involved.
I know you was shackled. I know you was.
Oh yes, yes.
I know you were thrown in jail.
I was facing 8 years jail.
That's why I said I'm disappointed.
No, you don't have to be disappointed. No. But you're gonna be more disappointed. You're gonna be more disappointed, because I choose at this age when I'm going to get involved publicly and not. I choose, because at a given moment, and I'm going to say this, I don't find that I have to sacrifice myself completely, my wife, my family, to please anybody. And especially youngsters. You know, when I did it, I was younger too. You understand? And in life, you know, at a certain moment, every age has a certain responsibility. If St. Maarten young people, you know, don't want to take up where we left, that's their problem. That is their problem. You can't, nobody can hold me responsible, you know, for what's going on, because I ain't saying no. That's total nonsense. I mean, I am not going to be around all the time. So what are you going to do then? Right. What are you going to do then? I mean, I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in all you young people. That's what I'm disappointed. I'm pissed off at you all young people, to tell you the truth. Because where are you all? I went in jail, I think, 2 or 3 times for standing up for issues that were not of my personal interest. You know, that still is on my record. My home was put on auction for years. I couldn't touch my own home. So don't let us even go there yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
Dr. James, how do you feel about this new government? This, let me put it in quotes, this new government.
Well, tell you the truth, I've reached a stage where I've gone beyond party politics.
Right.
For me,
And being politically correct.
I want to say far away from being politically correct. And you don't hear nothing yet. Yeah? I choose to try to save Samaritan people, protect Samaritan people, you know, and to contribute toward the nation building process. Because when you look at Samaritan is a very unique situation and very complex at the same time. Unique in the sense that we are one people, and you feel the consequence of that.
Definitely.
One people, but with different nationalities or both nationalities. Right. It's a strange situation with an open border. It is a crazy situation, and still,
none like it in the
and
world.
still, it gives us native indigenous, I keep hammering all the time, a unique opportunity, because it gives us certain rights that others don't have. And because of that, and there's where the card comes in, we now would be able to claim certain rights. For instance, with the whole driver's license stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, I mean, there's a big picture. I mean, I ain't just jump up and do things like that. And it's going to take more than half an hour to explain all of that. You understand? But I focus, and I love it. I love it to death. I focus on building the Samaritan nation, meaning preserving, preserving the Samaritan people, you know, preserving, defending, defining them, and making sure that they come first in their country. At the same time, allowing for other people who are non-Samaritans, but who have an added value to us as a Samaritan to be part of that process. And there is where we have given out the ID card to others as well, and I'm very proud of it. You see?
I know you're going to take me and send me through the ringers for this one.
But you're getting me started.
Where's my ID card?
You don't want me to go there, right?
Where's my indigenous ID card?
You refuse to have your card.
I never refuse.
You refuse.
I never
No,
refuse
Chris, tell the
your
people
card.
why you refuse it.
I never refuse.
Tell the people why you
ID card. Up
refuse.
to this present day, I'm still waiting.
How many times I call you? How many times I call you?
Times.
So you refuse.
Many times.
So you refuse.
Tell me about the Nation Building Foundation, Dr. James.
It does it easy now, right?
Tell me about the Nation
It does it
Building
easier.
Foundation.
Okay. The Nation Building Foundation. You know what is interesting? From the time I came back to St. Maarten, I saw what was happening, what was going on, and what would happen to St. Maarten eventually. It started when I came back in 1981. I used to speak out at the Milton Peters College. I used to promote Antillians. I used to promote Antillian teachers. I used to promote Antillian students. The Dutch teachers, they had me for a racist. And I said, call me whatever you choose to call me. It really matters not. You understand? When I used to go Holland to recruit teachers, I used to tell them flat, you're coming to train our children so that you can get the hell out of here. Right? Because if you come here to make career here, you are not going to be inspired to train our people. That's why they never liked me. That's why Mr. Bensop can't stand me. Because he wasn't accustomed to having a black director as his boss. You understand? And they tried everything to undermine me. You don't know what I went through. They tried everything, and I encouraged them to continue to try because nothing's going to change. You understand? I went through the mill at the Milton Peters College with those people because I was the only black teacher at a certain moment, and I was the director too. And most of my teachers were white. So imagine that situation. Most of the masters and the doctors and whatever, and you have this black proud St. Maarten, heading them. They couldn't digest that, especially since I was one who was a very proud St. Maartener. So, I went through all of that, and for me it was very important to make sure that I protect and I encourage and inspire St. Maarten people, St. Maarten young people, to take charge of their country. Then at a certain moment, I realized, in order to be more effective, I got to institutionalize what I'm doing. I got to do it in an organization. There's where we started the We for We Foundation.
Right.
The We for We Foundation was started by a group of people, and the name was coined by none other than Julian Rollocks. When he came up with that name, he said, wow, that's it. He coined that name, so we have to give him credit for that. The We for We was not about being against anybody. We were never against others. We were for St. Maarten people, because back then we noticed already you had a lot of people come to St. Maarten, as refugees, economic refugees, political refugees, and while they had, the opportunity here to make a living here and everything else, what bothered us is they would talk for St. Maarten people. So we said, no. We have to talk for ourselves. So we started We for We Foundation to explain the people, to educate St. Maarten people and to speak for St. Maarten people, right? It was never against other people. Some people think it's against them. Who are you for us to waste time to be against you? Give me a break. We were about St. Maarten. We felt when you come to St. Maarten, you got to hear a St. Maarten voice. And we started for that, to hear a St. Maarten voice. When you come to St. Maarten, we can talk to you. You don't have to talk for us. You don't have to tell us now we're happy and we're happy. We're going to tell you when we're happy. You understand? Now, we functioned a number of years and really made a tremendous impact on St. Maarten socially and politically, and caused changes in the political arena which had never happened before. Then at a certain moment, we moved to the next level. We evolved because we realized at a certain moment that if you look at St. Maarten, look at the demographics of St. Maarten, you have a lot of people who are not of St. Maarten origin. So we realized then that, and we decided, let us now take it to the next level and not only talk on behalf of St. Maarten people and for St. Maarten people. Let's take it to the next level where we include other people as well in the process. And that process we call the nation building process. So we moved from an organization focused only on St. Maarten people to an organization, a movement, an organization, focused on preserving us, but as part of a bigger picture. And that bigger picture is nation building, meaning, that part of the nation building is preserving us as a people and to come first in our country, but also allowing for others to become part, because no matter how you twist or turn, it's got to happen. And these are the things that government had to do. If government had done these things, if the politicians that you all vote for and paying and whatever had done their work, I wouldn't have to be taking the blows for you all without getting paid for it and then sacrificing myself. You understand what I'm saying? So, this is why we decide at a certain moment, since the politicians ain't doing it, it has to be done, because no matter how you twist or turn, at a given moment, you got to have a process, an integration process taking place, because otherwise, what you get? Every nation here develops its own nation, and you get a big problem, you get a major problem. So, what make it then very interesting and complicated on St. Maarten was that on St. Maarten, right, you have St. Maarteners, but St. Maarteners that have different nationalities, live on the Dutch side, live on the French side. So we decided to form an organization also on the French side, which we call the Esprit de Concordia, and which had the same objectives as the Nation Building Foundation, and collectively we call both of them the Grassroots People Movement. And what is interesting in this whole thing too, in this discussion, is that no matter how we twist or turn, we had a meeting, we were invited yesterday by the SXTA. SXTA was no friend of ours. They invited because they realized that we are politically non-correct, but we talk about issues that have to be talked about, whether you like it or not, whether we have all the answers or not. But don't discuss those problems here. Don't blow up in your face sooner or later. You see, we come to realize at a given moment, if you look at the situation in Somalia, you talk about unifying the country, you talk about going to new constitutional phases. You have to identify yourself as a people. You can't get away from it. Right. We have waited for years for the politicians to do it. We begged them. You know that, Chris. We begged them. And then you had other people coming from abroad deciding who's a St. Maartener. And there's where we said, you know what? Since we give everybody the opportunity, since we see people coming from the outside who ain't have our history, who don't have the connection with the country, decide who's a St. Maartener, but we think it's our responsibility to define who we are as St. Maarten, because we have the history with this country. We have the history going back to the traditional period, which was, came about just after slavery. You understand what I'm saying? So we took it upon ourselves because, others refused to do it. The authority refused to do it. And when you look at it, a lot of politicians that listen now, all of them looking now, you know that, right? All of them know it has to be done. All of them agree with me. I talk with them on a regular basis, the Dutch side and the French side. They are glad of what we are doing, but they are afraid to discuss the issue because it has become so sensitive. On none of the other islands it is sensitive, because from day one, why is St. Bart's not sensitive? Because from day one they make clear who's who. You understand? We in St. Maarten, we have allowed for people to get so comfortable with us being damn fools as St. Martiners. You understand? Taking all kind of crap, taking humiliation, all kind of crap, and they build their country on top of us here. They have become so comfortable with that. So when you have people like myself start to speak out now, of course they feel their comfort zone effect. Of course I'm a monster. But don't I look like a monster? Of course I'm a monster. I'll be shocked if I'm not a monster under these circumstances. But guess what? They better get accustomed to it, because you have youngsters coming up after me too. If they think I'm outspoken, if they think I'm radical, they ain't seen nothing yet.
We have almost out of time, Dr. James. Let me ask you
Just getting warm.
one last question. I realize that because I also heard you mention his name over and over. How's your relationship today with Julian Rollocks?
Honestly speaking, I don't have any specific relationship with Julian Rollocks. We don't see each other. He has gone his way, and basically I have stuck to what I've been doing all the time.
Some other people, I like this gentleman. I always address him as Dr. Anders Leopold James. I believe we are down to probably the last minute in the program, and definitely from the messages in my BlackBerry, I'm sorry that I couldn't ask all the questions. He may say that I cop out on a few, but I know I took him to task. I definitely want to have him back on this program.
But then when I come back on the program,
time.
when you invite me again, make it real difficult, and bring one or two politicians who are willing to discuss me. Bring someone who you pay to take care of the country and only taking care of it. Bring one of them too, because I have no problem, to be interviewed, and I want to be interviewed hardcore. You understand? But I find also, and I talk to you too, I admire what you're doing. I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm going to be doing the same soon too. I find, at a certain moment, you have to take those to task that have been elected to do it. You understand? Because I talk to all the people. They are cowards. They are cowards. I talk to them on a regular basis. You understand? None will call in and contradict me. None. I will challenge them at any time, under any circumstance, on any forum to have a debate with them. You understand? Those are the people you got to ask. I don't get paid. I'm not an honorable whatever. I don't get paid. I have been financing what I'm doing out of my own pocket since 1981. I've been sacrificing my family. I've been sacrificing a lot of opportunities because I'm outspoken. But guess what? That is what I believe in, and that's what I'm going to continue doing. Whether I have to adjust myself to my situation, my health situation, my age, and whatever. But I am going to speak out for St. Maarten people, no matter what. Whether people like me or don't like me, God bless them. I love all of them.
I've also listened to people, and when I told them today that I'll be having you on the program, a gentleman said, "Now I'm starting to like him. He seems to be backtracking a bit with his harsh rhetoric and tone. He's finally involving us." What would you say to that person?
Well, listen, I have none to prove. I never said I was whatever people expected of me, that's their problem, right? I remember I was on Oral program a few years ago, and Oral told me to, Oral was never always easy with me because he was very critical of me because, hey, he's a DP man or whatever, no problem. So at a given moment, Oral was surprised apparently in my approach, and he said, "James, what happened? They buy you out? You're always hardcore. You get soft now." So yeah, I get soft. Oh. So I answered this way. I said, well, maybe, because I never said I'm so special. I never said that. If you expect of me, that's your business. I said, I'm going to tell you one thing, how I see it. Maybe I get softer, it's possible. But maybe you get hardcore too.
Right.
And maybe both happen. And I guess both happened. With that, I mean the following. A lot of St. Maarten people, right, they're going to sleep now and they're going to wake up with a whole different mindset tonight, believe me. Right? Because a lot of them, not all, a lot have been cowards. Right? A lot have been cowards. And they were afraid to take a position. They saw me as a spoiler, as a this, as a the other. Right? But what happened now, the situation of St. Maarten getting tight and tough. And I'm glad it's getting tight and tough. It should get tighter and tougher because then we're going to realize we have a country to defend. So now a lot of St. Maarten people are realizing, listen, this is the only country we have, and these people come from all over the world, multiplying like I don't know what. You understand? So now a lot of people are taking a second look, a second listen to this crazy radical guy. You understand what I'm saying? So of course now a lot of them listen to me with a different mindset than back then when things were comfortable for them. Because now they see what I've been predicting. At the same time, here's maybe where my softening come in, I get older, and of course, I realized at a certain moment, because the learning experience for me as well, and I have no problem to say that, right? I'm enjoying, I enjoy the hostility and everything else, because what it does to me, it forces me to try to get through to that person by letting that person come out with all the anger and whatever to me, and I try to understand the person, and it doesn't always work. I try not to get mad. I try to understand the person. I try to put myself in the person's position. Let's say a person who is not a Samaritan, living here for years, comfortable for years, here to see this ugly black Leopold come and he talking this and he talking all this kind of stupid language and whatever. I can understand that the guy gets, but that guy's a hater. I can understand.
Never said he's not going to stop defending his Haitian people here in St. Maarten.
But I'm glad he's going to do it. That's his choice. But I don't. Listen, I admire Olivier tremendously. You know why I admire him? I won't admire him if he didn't defend his Haitian people. Because then we have the same principles. You defend who you're loyal to. You understand? If he was not proud to be a Haitian, I couldn't deal with him.
He said once you're born here, you're a St. Maarten.
But that's his opinion. That's his opinion. What's wrong? That's his opinion. That's not mine. Right? That's not mine.
You're softening up.
Call it whatever you want.
So, Maarten people, this is what Hard Talk is all about. And like I said, I'm definitely going to have the Honorable, because you said he's not an Honorable. We're definitely going to have the Honorable Dr. Anders Leopold James back on the program. Simply an hour is not good enough, but we are down. We are at the end of the program. I want to thank him very much, Dr. James, for being on Hard Talk.
I want to thank you very much.
Very, very much.
I thought it was more soft talk than anything else, but maybe the next time it become more hard talk. I love it. Because it just makes me better. And I believe in what I'm doing. I believe that charity should start at home for any people. When I'm in somebody's country, I have no problem being second, and I ain't going to fight them to be first. And when it comes to St. Maarten, I think people have to get accustomed to, St. Maarten should come first. It's easy as that. And the quicker people catch on, the more we embrace them and we move on and take this country to the next level. Simple.
There you have it, St. Maarten people. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for logging on. I know my phone was going crazy, and I know tomorrow more questions will be coming. I'll save them. I'll hold them for when he comes on, and next time, like I said, definitely an hour is not good enough. And I hope when he's back here, our phone lines are working. St. Maarten people, thank you very much. Take care of yourself. God bless each and every one of you. Goodbye.
Yes, baby. Now you got me. Yes, baby. Now you got me nice, 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 nice. You got me sweet, 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 sweet. Oh, girl. Yes, baby. Now you got me. Yes, baby. Oh. Girl, you have me hanging on a string. And I find you should know what I mean. From the first time that I met you, I know there was something about you. I still went on take my chances